All right, guys. So the ISM Services PMI was just released for April 2021. This is important to look at. I know we talk a lot about the manufacturing sector, but services is also important because it helps us to get a better look into what's happening on the employment side and on prices. And we get to hear a little bit from the purchasing managers regarding their view on what's happening within the economy on the ground level. So the services PMI actually notched down a little bit lower this time, but it's still in expansionary territory at a whopping 62%. So it's still relatively high. But there are other parts of that make up the composite number that are higher this month than previously. One of them being the prices index. As you can see here, the prices index figure of 76.8% is 2.8 percentage points higher than the March reading of 74%, indicating that prices increased in April and at a faster rate. So we can go down and take a look at that even more. But it ends by saying this is the index's highest reading since it reached 77.4% in July of 2008. So prices are just screaming higher in the services sector. Now, let's take a look at the industry performance breakdown because this is also important as well. This is the reported growth in April in listed order. And the first one is arts, entertainment, and recreation, which is important because it lets us know that the economies within the United States are really starting to reopen. Because one of the industries that especially I haven't seen that I love is music. I haven't been able to go out and see any people play music, and that's my thing. So seeing that lets me know that we're starting to see things really start to reopen within the economy. But let's see what the respondents are saying, because this will be a nice clue into what's happening price-wise and just on the ground level with customers. Check this out. Restaurant capacity is increasing quickly as restrictions are removed. Consumers have pent up demand. Sales are increasing, and the labor pool is tight. Supply chain is challenged at every level as business across the U.S. ramp up. So here we have consumers going out, spending a lot of money. Even though inflation and prices are rising, they're still accepting those higher prices, and sales are increasing with that. Let's continue. Delays in container deliveries are now impacting our business. So there's some delay or some supply crunches here. Let's actually go down. Consistent with the past year, labor continues to be the biggest issue we are facing. Finding and retaining labor, skilled and unskilled, is highly challenging and frustrating. As the challenges continue, we are not accepting all the work that we could if we had the labor. So people are screaming to hire people, which is also another positive sign there. Let's actually go down here and take a look at the information sector. Overall, there is pricing pressure for goods and services in the market. Let's take a look at professional, scientific, and technical services. Supply has been dwarfed by demand and ocean transport logistics imbalances with ships and containers. So long story short, you're seeing a lot of price pressure, people having issues with hiring. I'm just seeing this here for public administration. There's pent up demand and resources, especially people. So it's just continuing it on and on and on. Now, this is also one of my favorite things to look at when it comes to the PMI, which is what direction is the breakdown of each section of the PMI going? Is it slowing, or is it growing, or is it not? And what's the rate of change? Is it slower? Is it faster? What's happening? Now, take a look at prices. Let's scroll down here. And in prices, you see that it's increasing, and it's increasing at a faster rate. And in addition to that, the trend is that for 47 months, we've been seeing this. And if you take a look down here, This is the most consistently growing trend that we have within the services PMI, which is very telling. It lets you know that prices have just been increasing anyway, so it's actually really interesting to see how prices have just been rising constantly for 47 months. So let's take a look and take a look at the prices section, because that can actually tell us a little bit more about what's going on. And we can get a better clue as far as what customers are willing to accept currently and possibly what they may be accepting in the future. Okay, prices paid by service. Actually move this over so you can see that. Prices paid by service organizations for materials and services increased in April, with the index registering 76.8%. This is 2.8 percentage points higher than the 74% reported in March and the highest reading since July 2008. All 18 services industries reported an increase in prices paid during the month of April. And listed in order: transportation and warehousing, that makes sense. Construction definitely makes sense. We've all been hearing about that. Management of companies and support services. We have real estate there. So just an increase in prices all around. So guys, this is essentially what we get when we take a look at the ISM services PMI. We get to see what's happening with prices that are hitting consumers, and we also get to see what's happening with employment as well. So employment is looking pretty healthy at 58.8%, and prices were up in the 70s. So guys, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments section below. Thanks again for watching. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe if you're new. It's Black Bullion for goldandsilvertoday.com.